some of the stories we'll be following today. There'll be no prisoner exchange to free 2 Canadians being detained in China. The death rate from COVID-19 in Canadian nursing homes is twice that of developed countries. Canada's credit rating is taking a hit because of COVID-19. We begin with our Prime Minister this morning, Justin Trudeau, again saying no to a deal that would see a Huawei executive who's been arrested in Vancouver 18 months ago, see her released in exchange for China freeing 2 Canadians who've been detained in Beijing. Ex-diplomat Michael Kovrig and businessman Michael Spavor, the 2 Michaels, they were detained just days after Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou was arrested in Canada. She was wanted on a U.S. warrant in what is widely believed to have been a retaliatory move from China. China has indicated it would be open to a deal that would free Meng in exchange for sending the 2 Canadians home. Trudeau says his government will continue to work hard to get China to release the 2 men, but he says a prisoner exchange is out of the question.
However, the bigger question is whether or not we want China or other countries to get the message that all they have to do to get leverage over the Canadian government is randomly arrest a couple of Canadians.
He's spoken with the families of the 2 men.
I have met with a number of family members, and I feel deeply for not just the 2 Michaels who are in a very difficult situation, but their families who have endured a year and a half of difficulties with this arbitrary detention by Chinese authorities. But it is not just the 2 Michaels who are at question here. It is every Canadian who travels to China or anywhere else overseas. If the Chinese government concludes from this exchange and this interaction that it is an effective way to gain leverage over Canadians and over the Canadian government to randomly arrest Canadians, then no Canadian will be safe going forward.
Now, several former Canadian justice officials have been urging Trudeau to do a prisoner exchange. They say Meng's arrest is an American problem, not a Canadian one. Well, this study is really disappointing. The Canadian Institute for Health Information says the number of COVID-19 deaths in Canadian nursing homes is twice what it is in other developed countries. 16 countries were studied. The study notes that 81% of all COVID-19 deaths in Canada were people who lived in long-term care facilities. That compares to an average of 42% elsewhere. The proportion of long-term care deaths ranged from less than 10% in Slovenia and Hungary to 31% in the United States, 66% in Spain. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told his daily briefing the study shows the way we care for our seniors is not working, but Trudeau will not commit to imposing a national standard.
I think we know things need to change. Do we need national standards, or do the provinces just need to increase their standards significantly to reach an equivalent level across the country? These are conversations we can have with the premiers, are conversations that we've had on an ongoing basis every Thursday night for the past 15 weeks. The federal government will be there to help for our seniors. How exactly we do that? Well, in our federation, because of the constitutional division of powers, we will work in consultation, in respect with the premiers. But we know Canada as a whole, all levels of government, need to do better for our seniors, and we will be there to do that.
Now, as we've told you, Canada is facing a long-term care crisis as the country ages. An economic analysis is predicting that in the next 10 years, 1 out of 4 Canadians will be over the age of 65. and more than 650,000 are expected to require long-term care. That's an increase of 200,000 people over the next decade. Do you check your credit rating? I do kind of every month, make sure everything's okay. Well, you know, Canadians are having a look at their country's credit rating. Fitch Ratings is an American credit rating service, and it has downgraded Canada's score from AAA to AA. Now, what does that mean? What it means is it's going to cost the country more to borrow money. Prime Minister Trudeau says, you know, given the times, the downgrade was not unexpected.
What it says is in this historic, unprecedented pandemic, we needed to help Canadians. We came into this situation with one of the best balance sheets in the G7, and we put that to work for people. We put more than $50 billion into people's pockets through the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. We've supported our entrepreneurs. We've made sure through various programs that Canadians could not only protect themselves through this pandemic, but also hold our economic standing so that when we get out of this, as we restart, our economy will come roaring back. That was a decision that we needed to make because supporting Canadians is always the priority of this government.
Well, simply put, the government spent too much money mitigating the effects of the pandemic to maintain its credit rating. We talk about government transparency now. You know, the government letting you know what they're doing. In Canada, the province with the most cases of COVID-19 is Quebec. The most deaths also in Quebec. Let's look at the numbers. At this moment, since the pandemic began, almost 55,000 cases, that's more than half in all of Canada, were in Quebec. The infection claimed more than 5,400 lives. 500 people still in hospital, 52 of them in intensive care. Now, Quebec Premier François Legault says his government will no longer publish daily numbers. Legault says, you know, the numbers are stabilizing, so why bother? The health department will simply put them out on a weekly basis. That's got a lot of people upset. Why aren't they telling us, they ask. Prime Minister Trudeau was asked that, and he says he's not going to order any province to let people know just how prevalent the infection rate is.
I think every province makes its own decisions about how transparent it needs to be and how much it will provide data and information to its citizens. I think there are probably examples. I think of PEI where there haven't been a case in many, many weeks. I doubt that they're feeling like they have to publish case numbers every single day. They may well do it. I don't know. In Quebec, there's still very much a significant number of cases every single day, significant numbers of deaths, unfortunately, every single day. And I certainly hope that Premier Legault would continue to be transparent and open with Quebecers and indeed with all Canadians, as he has been from the very beginning.
Not publishing the numbers. That's kind of like the cop telling people, move along now, move along, nothing to see here, folks. Well, the Prime Minister took a little time off yesterday. He and his 6-year-old son, Hadrian, went out for some ice cream. It was also Saint-Jean-Baptiste Day in Quebec. That's a holiday in that province. So wearing masks, Trudeau and his 6-year-old son were cheered at the ice cream parlor that he stopped at in Gatineau, Quebec. After buying their cones, father and sons headed out to the patio, doffed their masks, and enjoyed their treats. What did they have? Adrian settled on a vanilla cone with a cookie topping. And Dad? He bought a vanilla cone dipped in chocolate. Yeah. I guess I can agree with him on that issue. I love my ice cream dipped in chocolate.